have some district left for my high school players, but there's some top three things that I think that you absolutely need to know. And I just wanted to break that down for you so you can understand better. Go out there so you can execute at your best ability, right? So we think a lot about, oh, I got to take shots and I got to do this and that, I got to lift or whatever. But like you can break this down into three components that I think are going to matter the most. Okay, so number one here, like let me go all through all three of them first. So you got mind, you got body, and you got spirit. And that sounds real corny, real cliche, but it's the truth. I'm gonna break them down a little deeper so you know exactly what it is, and try to give you some actual takeaways that you can use and start elevating yourself to be ready for the playoffs, or if you're already in the playoffs, you can execute at a higher level. So let's talk about the obvious one, the body, right? So first of all, any chance that you get for intentional recovery, you need to do that. By intentional recovery, stretching, getting more sleep, Normatec, massage gun, cold tub, hot tub, anything that's going to recharge the battery. You may feel fine, but let's be realistic. The body taking the compound of effect, your body taking the pounding and the compound effect of a whole 6 to 8 month season here, it's wearing on you. Your legs might be okay, but they're definitely not as fresh as they were 2 or 3 months ago. So with that being said, what can you do to bring that recovery back up, including nutrition, right? Maybe you do need a little bit of a supplement. I'm not co-signing any certain supplement or anything of that nature. You got to do your homework, research, things of that nature, but nutrition for sure, supplement will help. Sleeping, I know it's hard to be a student athlete, especially during this time with travel and school and all that, but you got to find to get that recovery. All of that's really, really going to matter. Obviously, not only for performance, but for prevention of a breakdown, a silly overuse injury, something of that nature, right? From there, let's go to mind. Okay, one, are you focused? Do you have a bunch of stuff going on? Some of it might be mandatory, or you can't avoid something like school or tests and things like that, finals, whatever your situation is. But what can you eliminate? What can wait for a few weeks, and then you put your mind and your focus towards that? Because the more mental overload you have, the more you're going to feel that in practice, which is going to hurt preparation. The more you're going to feel that in game, which is going to hurt performance, right? So being in the right mental space. The other thing with mental is meditating, taking time to visualize and see what you want to accomplish. The goal you have of becoming a state champion is a tough goal. It's going to take your belief to be to another degree and maybe higher than the next person's or higher than the next team's for you to even get to this space, let alone all the physical capacity that needs to happen, right? So where is your mind? Do you believe in you to help impact your team? Do you believe in your team? Can you see yourself holding that trophy? Can you see yourself producing and performing at the level that you want to do when it's time? All that is going to matter, right? So eliminate distractions, visualize performance and excellence, right? And then lower those stress levels. Take time off social media, even though we're on social media right now. Take time off social media. Breathe. Don't worry about the stress and the crazy things going on in the world and everybody's bickering about and this, detach from that. Find alone time. Find time where you're not really dealing with a lot of those stresses. Do you have time within the week that's your own personal time? You give so much. You give to your school. You give to your sports. You give to your family. You give to your friends. With all that's going on, when do you have time for you? Because if your cup's not full, it's hard to fill another's. And so you got to take that mental time and knowing what that is, right? Okay? The spiritual side is the part that I think everybody neglects the most, but I think is the most underrated, okay? And first thing I would say is your morale. Let me explain, right? Your morale, in my opinion, yeah, you could say it's how happy you are, what kind of mood you're in, but really it's your will to continue to drive and to compete. Now, I know the excitement of the playoffs and everything is here, so that kind of makes it easy, but it's not, that's like external, that's motivation, right? And so they say motivation is kind of like a log in the fire. Eventually it's going to burn out and then you have nothing. When I talk about morale, I'm talking about inspiration. What's the drive inside feel like? Maybe you're a little beat down. Maybe it's been a rough season. Maybe you're coming off a couple bad shooting games. Maybe you lost playing time to another person. All that can impact your drive, your morale. You know, when I was infantry in the Army National Guard, we talked about morale a lot because, yeah, soldiers trained to keep fighting and to keep driving no matter what's happened. But as leaders, we were taught to always check the morale of your troops. And because it's that will to fight, it's that will to drive, it's that will to continue to compete that needs to be there. And again, I know you're going to be motivated come game time, but where's your will to drive, to compete in the practices, to do all this stuff that I'm asking you? Yeah, if you do all this mind, body, and spirit things that we're talking about, you should be in a better place come game day. But you got to have that will to make all of that stuff happen. Like to put that in daily rituals, to take the time out of your way, to be willing to put your phone down for a few hours and just detach from it. Like all of that's going to be the work and the drive. So do you have that so that you can make yourself in a better, or put yourself in a better space when it's time to produce? And so the spiritual side very much matters. The other side of this, and understand this, how connected are you to your teammates? And if you are, good, deepen it. But don't wait for the team dinners that the mom and dads organize. Don't wait for the event that the coach organizes. Find ways to hang out with these people. Spend time with these people. Some of them you're never going to spend time with them again if you're the senior or they're the senior. Enjoy these moments. Be present with them. That connection, that bond is part of also what builds morale. Because if you're fighting for something bigger than you, the fight is always stronger. That's the whole way that the military even works. You're serving for your country, something way bigger than yourself, right? No one decided to go to war for themselves. That's crazy. They do it for a bigger and better cause, and it builds a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and everything that matters in the army. Or not just the army, the military. So with these mind, body, and spirit connections, these are what are going to make you the most successful that you need to be for the playoffs. I wish you nothing but success for the playoffs. I hope you and your team go as far as you can get. And I hope you're holding a trophy at the end. So if this was beneficial to you, please subscribe and share. Okay? Subscribe because I have a lot more of this coming. 2025 is the year I'm dumping and pouring into YouTube to serve you, the player. But share this because other players need to hear this too. And this is your chance to do so.